How's it going? Welcome back to another great video with the majestic one, the Savior. Yes, that's right, okay? Don't be alarmed, don't be scared, okay? Don't worry, okay? You've come to the right place. Welcome back, and if you are new, become a wise boy today. Don't be a dum-dum, okay? Don't get hooked in to, bullshit games, okay? Just become a wise boy and subscribe. It takes 2 seconds of your time, but you have no idea how much that means to me. It means absolutely everything, and I work super hard on my content so I do not disappoint you guys. That is my #1 priority. If you do like game reviews early or looking back at older games or philosophical content, you've come to the right place. Check out my video essays, and my music is on Spotify. With all of that shilling out of the way, I do not have a sponsor for this, so with all of that out of the way, let's take a look at Assassin's Creed Mirage. Savior, can you please at least lube me up before you start shilling to me? I'm going in. Excuse me, we had some technical difficulties right there, but yes, I'm pretty excited, and it's not because I'm hopped up on Ubisoft magical, fairy dust, okay? I haven't been snorting that Ubisoft stuff. Not like Luke Stevens over here.
To be completely honest, I like it. I was actually kind of surprised at how good it felt just to be back in a simplistic Assassin's Creed game.
An accomplice of a confidence trickster or swindler who poses as a genuine customer to entice or encourage others.
I'm going to give you an honest take on Assassin's Creed Mirage. No BS. I'm going to ask the question, is Assassin's Creed Mirage worth it? Is it worth buying Assassin's Creed Mirage? That is what I hope to answer today. I feel like the gaming industry now has become pretty toxic. Not so much for gamers, okay, but the industry itself. The reviewers, the paid-off shills, the previewers that, shill a game in the preview and then, oh, surprise, surprise, it's a piece of shit. Or, just developers and publishers pushing broken games onto us and, just the state of AAA games. But in 2023, we've had some absolute bangers. It feels like finally gaming is back on its feet. It feels like kind of a renaissance of games, and finally this year we've had some great games, some very divisive games. I mean divisive games, not diversive. Well, I'm pretty sure we've had a lot of divisive games as well, because it's 2023 after all. We've had a lot of people with some very big opinions, okay, around certain games, instead of just remembering that, games are for everyone and we should all just enjoy them. And a lot of people taking, opinions very seriously around video games. Yes, they are important, okay, yes, they do have meaningful stories to tell, and, some of them can actually give you insight. Games have evolved and they've become much more complicated than something like, Pac-Man, okay? It's not like that anymore, and it's, a growing media much more than TV or movies. It's way more interactive, but we just have to remember to respect each other's opinions, because at the end of the day, all reviews are simple opinions, and this is my opinion on Assassin's Creed Mirage, so I just want to say that out there. If you want to get angry with me because I have a different opinion, go ahead, fall into tribalism. You are not a wise boy, and I only want the wise people to subscribe, so I'm fine with it. Do I like some Assassin's Creed games? Did I used to be a fan of Assassin's Creed? Yes, I was, okay? I remember back in the day, when the first Assassin's Creed dropped, when I first got my shiny new PlayStation 3, okay? Oh yes, I was so excited. I watched that trailer of Altair, I can't remember, I think that's his name, just like the kind of Bell trailer, if you remember, you know what I'm saying, okay? The Bell trailer of him like going up and then doing the jump, the signature jump and assassination, and that game was just peak, okay? It was amazing, okay? They nailed the feeling of being an assassin, okay? They absolutely nailed it, and then, what do you know, later on, they nailed it again with Ezio and the whole Italian trilogy of Ezio. If I go back and play the old Assassin's Creed game, I think I would find myself not enjoying it as much because it was all new back then. Now, if I went back, I think I would just get tired because I've played so many Ubisoft games. I've played the same game. Assassin's Creed is basically the same game as Far Cry, okay, let's be real. The UI, the layout, clearing towers, getting the viewpoints and, seeing the map unlock and all that kind of stuff, clearing, you know, enemy bases, it's all the same shit, okay? And I think a lot of people were tired. So then Ubisoft said, okay, no more Assassin's Creed every single year, because funny enough, that doesn't give us enough time to innovate. Let's change things up. Let's make it into a light RPG without any of the RPG stuff. And some people absolutely love that. I personally, that's when I started not to like Assassin's Creed, because I don't like my RPGs done in that way. I like it much more with choice and consequences, like Baldur's Gate 3. For me, Assassin's Creed has never been an immersive game ever since 1 and 2. So that is where I am, that is my history with Assassin's Creed. I think it's important just to stay that out of the way before we talk about this, because, you know, I just want you to understand where I'm coming from. I do enjoy Assassin's Creed. I have enjoyed the games before. I absolutely enjoyed Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I even enjoyed Unity for a little bit. But there have been so many Assassin's Creed games. It's literally...
No! God, please, no! Nice.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
I gotta tell you, it was perfect. Perfect.
I mean, it's alright, like...
I think a core example of how this game fundamentally fails to uphold the principles of the first Assassin's Creed is in something as simple as the Prince of Persia cosmetics. People will likely see this as harmless and a wasted point of critique, it's just a cosmetic after all, but let me try to explain why that line of thought is exactly what disintegrated Assassin's Creed in the first place. You see, Assassin's Creed 1 was very diegetic. I talk more about this in my Assassin's Creed 1 retrospective, but the idea was that you weren't just playing a game, you were experiencing something. There were layers. Every game aspect was altered to feel part of a realistic universe. The HUD was baked into the animus. Every option in the menu was part of the story. The map was something Desmond could see and interact with. The health bar indicated Desmond's level of sync, and every action that took him out of sync was recorded there for the player to see. It worked as a health bar, but it was so much more in context. The reason this is important is because it built the very foundation that is Assassin's Creed 1. There were no cosmetics in Assassin's Creed 1, nothing to break the absolute perfect synchronization between Ancestor, modern day, and you, the player.
So with that out of the way, I just think it's important to talk about the state of Ubisoft, how Ubisoft kind of changed the gaming industry for the better, and for the worse, I would say, on the most part, how things became more generic, how things became more hand-holding, how they took away agency from the player, you know, this cluttered HUD mentality with games, X-ray vision, because we can't have people, you know, being surprised anymore, you know, the dumbing down of games, okay? I think we can all agree that Ubisoft played a massive part in that. You can still love Assassin's Creed, that's fine. I'm just trying to point out the fact that this is still a Ubisoft game, and they are very good at tricking the audience, you know, with marketing. Just look at Bethesda, okay? Just look at any gaming company nowadays. They are very good at saying, oh, no, trust me, this is completely different. This is not like our other games. This is a brand new experience. We've gone back. We've changed things, okay? This is a new Assassin's Creed, and it's way better than the other ones. It's not just a copy and pasted reskin or a DLC. This is the Assassin's Creed Mirage review, and yes, I do base my reviews on early hands-on and impressions, because we can't trust the gaming industry as it stands when they've already taken your money and it's already been released. So here they have gone back, okay? They've regressed, and personally, that's not a good sign. I don't know why people are so happy with the fact that Assassin's Creed Mirage, it's going back to its roots, okay? It's simplifying itself. It's going back to what Assassin's Creed used to be, which was like 10 years ago, okay? I don't know why people are praising this game so much, because it's literally going back. It's literally going back in time, okay? It's not innovating, it's not adding new stuff, it's just repeating older games because it knows that the audience is sick and tired of the newer games, which to me is pretty insane, because when I think about a new Assassin's Creed game, I want innovation. I want, you know, upgrades in the AI system. I want upgrades in how the guards react, and, you know, the chases and how you hide and all that stuff, you know, new mechanics and all that kind of stuff. Assassin's Creed Mirage doesn't really have any of that, okay? It does feel just like a stripped down version of a new Assassin's Creed game, and that might be great for some people, but for me, that is not enough. So the first positive is that the map is a lot smaller, so it doesn't feel as bloated, you know, it does feel much more concentrated, and that is a positive. There is so much detail now in the city, and you know, it does feel more lived in, it does feel a little bit more alive. You can interact with the NPCs more. It does feel very much like the old Assassin's Creed, you know, like 1 and 2, where you can go and pickpocket from groups, you can hide in groups, you can use the NPCs as distractions, they will actually rat on you to the guards and stuff like that. So it does feel a little bit more alive, but they haven't evolved it, okay? This is 2023, and they haven't changed how the NPCs react or interact with the world. So that's gonna be disappointing for some people who actually have standards. Okay, the Assassin's Creed fanboys are coming after me. Assassin's Creed Mirage does feel like an old game, okay? And that's not a positive. The AI feels very dumb, and the way that some guards will just not even notice you when you're standing right in front of them. The AI is a little bit busted, and you know, I expected a new Assassin's Creed, you know, when they say that they're going back and they're redefining, you know, what it means to be an assassin, going back to the roots of, you know, one-shotting enemies with assassinations and, you know, being more stealthy. And yes, they have done that, but it doesn't matter if the guards don't feel alive. It doesn't matter if, you know, you're standing right in front of them, you just kill their buddies and they don't care, okay? There are a lot of times in this game where the AI is just broken. It's also far too easy to escape them. They don't put up much of a chase. I remember in the first Assassin's Creed game, you would have to run for miles and miles and, you know, try and evade the Templars and the guards and stuff like that. Here, it's so easy to escape. So what I will say, so this is a positive, is, I know I just criticized it, but yes, the chases are still fun. They do feel much better compared to the newer Assassin's Creed games. It does feel like something from Assassin's Creed 3 or 2 or something like that, but it doesn't feel as well done as it should, considering this is a new 2023 Assassin's Creed game. So here's a negative, okay? Well, it's kind of a negative and a positive. So I love the fact that this is an Assassin's Creed game. This is focused about assassinations. It's not trying to be some grand big RPG. I feel like they just lost their identity. This is exactly where Assassin's Creed should be, okay? It's focusing on stealth gameplay, on assassinations. You cannot just take on a whole army anymore, you know? Yes, there is still that exploit of just being able to parry every single enemy, but it does feel like far better with combat now, because the stealth combat here is just so good. You know, you have so many gadgets and tools at your disposal. You have so many different ways of actually finding how to get to your target and then assassinating them, which feels so good. And that's what I love about it. The stealth assassination gameplay is great, but what I don't like about it is when things do get heated and you are forced into an actual combat situation where you cannot escape. You know, I do think it does feel very janky. Like the lock-on system, it feels like you are glued to your targets. It just feels very floaty, it doesn't feel good, and it's very simplistic, you know, heavy attack, light attack, and parry, pretty much. So don't think I'm a Assassin's Creed hater. I'm trying to be as objective as possible, but of course I have my own preferences. Like I said, I did enjoy the older Assassin's Creed games, and considering this is trying to be an older Assassin's Creed game, I do like this much more than the newer ones, but it is still very janky, okay? The NPCs don't look that good. It doesn't feel like a new game. It doesn't feel like it's, you know, cutting edge, next gen Assassin's Creed, okay? This does feel just like a rehash, if anything. But the stealth gameplay, they have refined it. It does feel good because there are so many ways of like actually finding your targets and, you know, taking them out. So many new ways to interact with the environment around you, like, you know, finding entry points and stuff like that, which I think is super cool. It's much more of a sandbox assassination, just like the first game, and that's what I loved about it. You know, it just tells you to take out this target and you have to figure out how to do it. That I absolutely love. But when it comes to the actual combat, you know, I like the fact that it's more realistic, you know, that you can't just take on a whole army, but it's still very janky and it doesn't feel that good when you do have to actually fight a whole bunch of enemies. Yes, there is hiding spot assassinations now, and that's not new, okay? They used to have that as well in the older games, but it's back, which is nice. The NPCs do act a little bit more realistically, like the city does feel more alive, like they have more defined like NPC routes and stuff like that, but still they act like dumb, just janky NPCs at times, and they clip through absolutely everything a lot of the times. So, you know, it's not like groundbreaking. So here's another negative I would say is the fact that a lot of the quest design is fetch quests, okay? Standard stuff that we've seen. The HUD is more stripped back, which I like. You know, now NPCs actually tell you where to find something instead of you looking on a map, which feels much more immersive, and I really do like that. I like the main actual assassination missions because you have to figure it out. You have to, you know, actually interact with the environment and, you know, listen. Basically, it's kind of like Hitman, okay? You have to listen out for intel. You have to go around and even bribe people and stuff like that. So for quest design, it varies, okay? Some of it can be really good, but some of it does feel like the same Ubisoft collectathon bullshit, okay? And a lot of it is fetch quests. The writing and the story is engaging from, you know, what I've seen and what the impressions and everything like that. Like I said, this is all based around the early game, so it's not the full game review. That's how I do all of my reviews because we cannot trust the industry. And when they release a game, it's already too late. You've already wasted your money. And a big negative, okay, is, guess what? This game has X-ray vision. Yes. And X-ray vision is, it needs to die, okay? It needs to die. I don't care if you're, you know, a newer gamer and you don't remember the days of not having X-ray vision. Trust me, turn that shit off, okay? Your experience will be so much better without it. What is the point of feeling like an assassin, you know, sneaking around the buildings, the rooftops, just when you can actually, you know, when you can literally see everyone? What is the point? How do you get immersed? How does it feel rewarding? I don't understand the mentality, okay? X-ray vision is the epitome of Ubisoft design and hand-holding mechanics, and it needs to die. So here's a positive. Now pickpocketing feels far more fleshed out, and it's just, you know, it feels great to do because now the consequences are higher if you get caught. You're not, you know, a badass one-man army, so you do have to be much more careful when you are. You do feel much more like a stealthy assassin, which I absolutely love. They did nail that feeling, but like I said, this just feels almost like a remake of the first game, and maybe it improves on some things, like I said, with how you assassinate the target, but everything else is still very much modern day Ubisoft. One feature I do like is that you can actually go underwater, which, you know, is super cool, and it just makes the world feel more immersive. I do love that, and exploring out of the city does feel much more dangerous, and it just feels very rewarding. The skill tree is split with 3 different paths that you can go down, and the first one being Phantom, and basically this is your assassination and your assassin's class ability. You can do like a chain assassination or kicking, stuff like that. You know, abilities that we've already seen, but now it's unlockable, okay? It's kind of like what Starfield did, you know, base skills that should already be integrated, but now you can unlock them. And yes, this is still better than just having like a percentage increase like the RPG Assassin's Creed games, but I just wish they were more creative with it. But of course, you know, they can't think creatively, so it's just kind of the same stuff from older Assassin's Creed games, from newer Assassin's Creed games, you know, and they basically just, now you can unlock different abilities. Anyway, on to the next skill tree. This is the Trickster skill path, okay, and basically this is for your tools, okay, so this will upgrade stuff like when you have throwables, you'll be able to pick them up again, because, you know, that's something you need to unlock. It's not just naturally in the game like the first game. And for the final skill tree, it's basically, you know, helping you with your eagle vision, which is basically X-ray bullshit. I'm trying to be as objective as possible. Yes, I do have my own, you know, opinions around Ubisoft. If you love Ubisoft and you're really not sick of them at this point, then that's completely understandable, and you will like this game. But I think it's important to expect more, you know, from a games franchise that has been going on for this long, okay, and we're still just getting the same thing, okay? I find that pretty insulting. Call of Duty, say what you want, but they did finally, you know, innovate. So one new addition that I do like is the Kidama tokens, and these are a special form of currency that you can unlock by exploration, by pickpocketing. And if you remember games like Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, again, a very old game, but you could basically interact with certain groups, certain NPC groups and gangs to basically use them as distractions to help you in a fight, and basically it's the same system. It's back, okay? Cool. So these tokens will basically unlock interactions with NPCs, and some of it is new, I will give them credit. And one thing that I do like about it is with the big assassinations, if you have enough tokens, sometimes this will actually change the outcome of the assassination, you know, in like a cinematic way, which is pretty cool. So the big positive here is I feel like they really took inspiration from Hitman, okay? And the assassinations, when it's down to the big assassinations, I feel like this is much better. The parkour feels much smoother. The map is smaller and denser and feels more refined, and quality is just better. But this isn't anything innovative, okay? And that's my problem with it. I expect a higher degree, okay, when they're basically saying this is, you know, a new Assassin's Creed, they're bringing it back to basics. I didn't think that they literally mean that they were just gonna copy the same old game that was released almost 10 years ago. So the final verdict on Assassin's Creed Mirage is, it's a lot better, it's, you know, much more polished, refined, and they've basically taken all of the good things from previous Assassin's Creed games and they put it into one game, which sounds good on paper, but actually they've still taken a lot of systems that they could have easily, you know, corrected or changed or altered or added new additions to those mechanics to make them much more fleshed out, but instead they just kind of copy and pasted them. And at the end of the day, this game feels like a very old Assassin's Creed game with, you know, some of the mechanics from previous games, and that's pretty much it. I do enjoy, like I said, the big assassinations and the fact that it does feel much more interactive and less hand-holdy because you do actually have to use the environment, and it is a much more stealth-focused game, which I really do appreciate. So it does feel much more like an Assassin's Creed game. I was just hoping for more personally, but that is my Assassin's Creed Mirage review. That is the Assassin's Creed Mirage game review. I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you do want to see more game reviews, make sure that you do subscribe and consider checking out my music on Spotify or dropping a small donation to support this independent channel, because, you know, obviously gaming studios don't like me that much because I'm very brutally honest. But if you do enjoy Assassin's Creed, that's fine. I don't think it's, you know, a bad game franchise. I did love the original ones. I was just expecting more. It's time to innovate, and this ain't it, okay? So I do hope you enjoyed this review of Assassin's Creed Mirage, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day. Peace out.